morning. So here for Thursday, we're continuing on our math for ratios, proportions, percentages, and yesterday we changed our fractions into percents. And today we're going to change decimals into percents, which is also quite easy. I'm going to show you how. As soon as you're done with your review exercises and speed drills, we can learn how to convert those. So it says that decimals can easily be changed to percents. And here are the two tips. Move the decimal point twice to the right and add a percent symbol. That sounds pretty easy. And be sure to change tenths to hundredths. So we did that yesterday. We learned that every time we see a 10, we're going to add a 0 and make it 100. So here we have an example. And this example says 0.15. And all that means is 15%. Because just like it said, move the decimal twice to the right. So if we did that, we would end up with 15, and then you add a percent symbol. Make sure to change tenths to hundredths, which we're going to do with this example. So in this example, it gives you 0.3. So if you were to first change the tenths to 100, so we add our 0, then you move twice to the right. Now we have 30%. So let's do the first two samples together, and you'll see that this is pretty simple. So for the first sample, we have 0.12. So we're going to just move that decimal over, which would just give us 12, which would mean 12%. Now here for this one, we have a tenth, and just remember we need to add a 0 to that. And then we can move our decimal over, which gives us 70, which gives us 70%. So just like yesterday, we had to add a 0 to the fraction. Today, if you have a tenth, like for example, number 3, number 5 here, you're going to add your 0 first and then move your decimal over. And here for Thursday, we are diagramming adverbs. So sometimes you don't need notebook paper, but today you will, because you're going to be diagramming these phrases just like we've done before with adjectives, with verbs, and now adverbs. So first for Think A, you're going to underline the subjects once and the verbs twice. We've done that endless times. It's just practice. And then you're going to diagram them. So just know that it's the same exact step for every sentence, the way that you diagram. So you have your subject, your verb, and then your adverb. Here we have our noun and all the different adjectives. And here we have our subject, which is our pronoun, our verb, and all of our adverbs. So for this one, numbers 1 through 10 for Think A, so only for Think A, you're going to diagram these according to the subjects and the verbs. So all of these for numbers 1 through 10 should look like this one. You should have the subject, then the verb next to it, and then under here, the adjective. So I'm going to give you one example just in case. Let's, little piece of paper. So here for the first one, it says, for example, he spoke eloquently. That's what we have for number 1. So it would look something like this. And in this case, it's an adverb, not an adjective, but that's okay. We have our subject, our verb, and then our adverb. So all of the sentences are pretty short. That's what they all should look like. Then on the bottom, we have more diagramming to do. It says to underline the subjects once, the verb twice, diagram the sentences on notebook paper. Here it says be ready to explain. Well, we are not all together, so you don't have to worry about that. We will discuss this page as much as we need to on Zoom, but just follow steps 1 and 2 here, underlining the verbs once, verbs twice, and then diagramming as needed here. So you can cheat and look up here for the ways that you should be diagramming. And here for Thursday, you are continuing on with your spelling, and you are continuing to sort your vowel and consonant words. So over here, it says to divide the VCCV words into syllables, but it's making it seem a little bit more complicated than it is. All you're going to do is clap out your syllables, like for example, journey would be journey, and you're just going to make sure that you're dividing them correctly. So journey, you divide it in between 2 consonants. So that's all that it's asking you to do. Make sure that when you're splitting your syllables, that it is in between 2 consonants and not a vowel. So for journey, it's easy because you have journey. So you would write journey. But here for attempt, it's not at-empt, it's actually at-tempt, meaning that you divide it in between the consonant, not the vowel. So just know that when you're splitting your syllables, make sure it's in between the 2 consonants. So for attempt, it would be at-tempt, splitting in between, and then you would write at-tempt. And that's how you're going to divide these. So it says here, consonant blend is a group of 2 or 3 consecutive consonants in a syllable where each consonant sound is heard. So just pretty much saying each of these letters is pronounced. Here it says a consonant digraph is a group of 2 consecutive consonants in a syllable that stands for a single sound. Sometimes you have two consonants, like in the word athlete, where it only makes 1 sound. We don't pronounce the T and the H separately. So those are just a few little hints and tips. So here we're going to divide them again, and it says not to split the consonant digraphs. So just making sure that you're not splitting the letters that make 1 sound. So for athlete, you would write ath and then leet. You would not split any letters that make the same sound. Like TH makes 1 sound, just like CK makes 1 sound. You wouldn't want to split those in half ever. You want to make sure that those always stay together. And if you need a little bit more help understanding that, please let me know. Here's pretty easy. You're just going to put this row in alphabetical order and then this row in alphabetical order. It's just make sure that you're not putting the entire list here together in alphabetical order. These are separate. So all of the words for number 10 would go in ABC order here, and all of the words for number 11 would go in ABC order here. So just make sure you keep these columns separate.